Happy Bike Shop Appreciation Month. I'm Coach Rob, and in this video, I'm going to tell you all the things I appreciate about being part of the history of Olympia Cycle Ski. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. It's October in the bike shop, and I want to tell you a little bit about Olympia's rich history here in Winnipeg and really in cycling around Canada. So if you're an old timer, you know that Olympia Cycle Ski didn't start as Olympia Cycle Ski. It actually started as Life Sport, and it was a little bit further down Portage Avenue than where we are now. Lindsay Gould, who had ridden his bike in the 1972 Olympics for Canada, wanted to open a bike shop. So in 1979, Lindsay Gould opened a little shop called Life Sport on Portage Avenue in the same storefront that if you go to Park City Runners today, it's right there. If you haven't been to Winnipeg, now you know, you can make the pilgrimage and you can visit all the Olympias. So from there, in about 1982, Lindsay moved the store to where Joe Black Coffee is, so a little bit closer, a little bit further down Portage Avenue. And he was there for a few years and moved to this location in 1987. And one of the best decisions he ever made was to hire this shy, quiet, very hardworking young man named Phil. And Lindsay ran it till the early 2000s when he sold Olympia to Scott Miller. Lindsay went off and did bicycle couriering for a while, and there's some crazy stories about him entering bicycle courier races and doing all sorts of funky things, but that was his retirement gig. Scott took over, and Scott and his staff served Winnipeg cyclists very well for about 16 years, until, full circle, Rob and Phil were approached to take over management of Olympia. And wow, what a wild ride it has been. I can't believe the last 4 years have been incredible. The fact that I know that history is because you come in and you tell us those stories, and we're so thankful. So that's just a little bit of the history, but today our story continues with our great staff.
My name is Dot, and I work at Olympia as a sales rep, aka bike peddler, and also ski enthusiast. I ride a 98 Trek that I bought at Olympia, and I have a new gravel Live Devote. What I appreciate about Olympia is that when I bought my first bike here when I was 17, I worked at a coffee shop down the block, and I was always able to bring my bike back in, and they're always helping me to keep it rolling. So much and so that that's still my winter ride, but with studded tires. I was inspired to start biking because I needed a cheap way to get to work, and I love the idea of having control of my own time with it. But then once I started biking, I realized how great it felt. And so I've been a bike commuter since then. I am thankful to work here where I'm encouraged to bike and ski and to lead with others on my rides.
My name is Sean. I am a sales associate here at Olympia Cycle Ski. The bike I ride is a giant TCR Advance Zero, which has the incredible Di2 electronic shifting. What I appreciate about local bike shops would be convenience. I was trying to do some sort of home mechanic work for my bike. I had nowhere else to go other than to a bike shop. And so the next day, they ended up calling me saying, "Hey, your bike is ready." The person that inspired me to go cycling would be my dad. So at the age of 6, he gifted me a 24-inch kid's bike with no training wheels, and at the time, I didn't know how to ride. I got on the bike, and he thought I wouldn't be able to do it for a laugh, and I did it. It just came to me naturally. I kind of just started learning new things about bikes, and now it became a passion. What I appreciate is helmets. I was just riding like a normal person, cruising, and my chain skipped. I went almost over the bars, but having a helmet saved me from a concussion, from any head injury. Of course, it did get damaged, but if it weren't for helmets, I wouldn't be here.
So one of the things that I've noticed with Olympia is how many people have a long history here. Every day, every week, people come in and say, like, I buy all my bikes from here, and I've got this bike from this era, I've got this bike from this era, this bike does this thing, this bike does that thing. It is so fun. And so in some ways, we've become a little bit of a time capsule of the history of cycling in Winnipeg. I think what I'm also really excited and thankful for is what we've seen in cycling even just over the last 5 years. So of course we've come through a pandemic when one of the very few activities that we could actually do was cycling. One of our main mandates is to help every person who got back into cycling or got into cycling for the first time in that pandemic time. It's our mandate to help you continue to enjoy riding because there are so many benefits. And I would say I am thankful just to cycling in general because I get time on my own when I need time on my own. I get time with friends when I need time with friends. And you know what? If I go back far enough, I think my best relationship and my best conversations with my dad happened on a bike. So when I was about 12 years old, I asked my dad if I could start going on Sunday morning rides with him. Because every Sunday morning, my dad would get up early in the morning and pedal off to a restaurant to meet with some of his friends. And they would pedal from wherever they were. And it was Sunday morning breakfast. And so from about the age of 12 right through university, I would get up early on Sunday morning and pedal the 16 kilometers down the highway for breakfast with my dad and his friends. So not only did I get a great time with my dad, but his friends became my friends. And to this day, it's a real gift that cycling has given to me. It's Thanksgiving. Thank you to you. Thank you to Lindsay and Scott and Phil and all the others who have gone before me to help grow cycling and grow the bike shop community in Winnipeg. I'm Coach Rob here at Olympia Cycle on Portage Avenue. I can't wait to see you here so that we can get you on the trails.